You know, it was very cool to see what the Cannon Falls Bomber dance team did up at the state tournament.
It was. That was a tough one. I was up there, and our activities director, Ken Hubert, was up there, and we, fortunately or unfortunately, I guess I'm glad I was there to do but what could you do, I guess. But we witnessed probably, I would say, one of the saddest things I've ever seen in Minnesota State high school athletics. It was very, very tough to watch.
Yeah, well, we're going to touch on that in the next segment. I'm sure you've spoken with your peers at those schools.
Well, actually, I wish I could say I have.
Oh, okay, you haven't.
I've received an apology, but it's only come from one school, and I'm putting my faith in that they're doing a good job. They're quality people. It's a quality school system, and I'm hoping that they're doing the right things.
Yeah. Can you tell us which school it was?
Yeah, Eden Prairie.
That you got the apology?
Yeah, and I've known the Eden Prairie since Luther College.
Oh, okay. Wow, back in your college days.
Back in the day.
Cool. Yeah, Luther Norse.
Yep.
We're going to visit more with Todd Sesker. He's the superintendent of the Faribault Public Schools, but right now we're going to get our opening market report. A service of your KDHL Agri Boosters, including Richland Repair, 3.5 miles off Gates Avenue in Faribault, a farmer's best friend. Because everything's up in the markets. KDHL Agri Boosters bring you our opening market report each and every day. Ag Power Enterprises, your John Deere dealer, locations in Owatonna, Hollandale. They're in Osage, Northwood, Iowa, and of course over in Belle Plaine. I already told you about Richland Repair. Offer precision planting products like the 2020 monitor and control systems. Richland Repair, your 360 Yield Center dealer. You can find out more at richlandrepair.com. richlandrepair.com. Again, Richland Repair is a farmer's best friend. Todd Sesker is the superintendent of the Faribault Public Schools. Of course, all of you know by now, unless you were living on another planet, about what happened last weekend at the state dance team competition. The Faribault Falcons are the AAA champions in high kick. How cool is that, Superintendent Sesker?
It is pretty cool. Anytime you have a state championship team, it really lifts everybody else's 10 students. Don't quote me on that, but It was not very many. Yeah, it was pretty close to be.
So to make state in 5A in football, I thought was a whale of an accomplishment.
It was. Our programs are steadily improving. We've got some good talent out there and some terrific coaches that we're really, really proud of. And, of course, that weight room facility, that new fitness area is going to help, and it's already showing some dividends.
Allie Miller, Coach of the Year in the Big Nine, and they were not even close to winning the Big Nine. I don't know if I've seen that before.
I haven't either. That's pretty cool, though, isn't it? I do want to say, just before I forget, I need to really make a public congratulations to Cannon Falls and their dance team.
Sure.
They came over last night, and, Bob Brittenell knows the board chair over there, and Beth Geese is the superintendent, and Jake Winchell's the athletic director, and their girls and the coaches to show that type of sportsmanship is really what this is all about. And we need to get back to that. I know competition's important, and success in the win-loss column is important too. But, the bottom line, state high school league, especially at the high school level, should be about sportsmanship. I wish they'd give a state championship trophy for sportsmanship, and that would be the last thing, the grand finale that they give, rather than having just the plain state champion competition piece.
Have you suggested that to the high school?
We haven't. Actually, I was talking to Beth Geese this morning, and she mentioned it, and I think it's a great idea to start some sort of pay it forward, because Cannon Falls had some tough going with their dance team.
Yeah, last summer, you're right.
They did, and now we've had this happen to us, and we now realize, like it or not, how important sportsmanship really is and how it affects kids. And if we can pay that forward and make that ripple effect throughout the entire state of Minnesota, then that would be terrific.
Did everybody in the Xcel Energy Center, or the Target Center, did everybody in the Target Center know what was going on at the time?
Well, we have some suspicion. We don't know because the investigation is still going on. We're between the prelims and the finals.
Did they announce this? At the Target Center?
Announce the...
Well, what was happening? Because Faribault was on one end of the floor and the rest of the teams are on the other end.
No, this was all premeditated, and Faribault was left out of the loop. The state high school league officials had absolutely no idea. The announcer had no idea that this was going on.
Okay.
So, in fact, when our girls moved over with the 5 other teams, and I saw the 5 girls holding hands in the front, and they wouldn't hold hands with our girls, then things started to click. I'm not real quick, but it started to make sense now. And then that kind of a celebration mentality turned into, what's going on here? And then it got to be ugly after that.
But, you said, I guess I don't understand why the protest was even waged, because there'd been an investigation. There'd been a complaint. And rightfully so, the high school league investigated the complaint and cleared Faribault of any kind of wrongdoing.
That's correct. And so that's where it gets to be confusing for us. And the state high school made a ruling. We abided by that ruling just like we're supposed to, just like any other decision that you make, and whether it's rule or law, you abide by that whole thing. And if you want to protest or if you want to do something different, then change the law or go to avenues that can help correct that. But don't put 13 and 18-year-old kids in the middle of it. That's what's so hard. Coaches can go ahead and do that. They can fight about it. That's fine. But when you start using the kids as pawns, then that's wrong.
And at the site of the competition, to file something in writing or something later, which I still don't understand, because you were cleared. Faribault was cleared of this, and all the coaches knew this. They got an email saying, we investigated, Faribault did no wrongdoing.
They did. And we are over that. I think yesterday was a great celebration for us, for our girls. I don't want to take away from some of the other sports, because we've got a terrific gymnast that's going to be competing at the state level tournament. That's terrific. We had a fun girls basketball game last night. We didn't win, but I thought the girls were competitive. We don't want to take away from that either, because that was, the celebration was at halftime. And our student body has just been terrific. And that was done at the Pep Fest at 2:30. And we've just seen all kinds of support flow in as a result of this. So we're on the other end of it now. We really don't have any control over what the high school league does. We hope, of course, and we really have no control over what the other 5 school districts are going to do. Again, and we hope, but we don't really have much say into those processes when it comes down to the bottom line. So we focus on what we can do. And what we can do is we can make sure that these parents and these kids feel good about themselves, their accomplishment. Winning the state championship, I don't care what sport you're in, it is a huge, huge accomplishment. And to win state titles, I believe Lois Krinke's won 12 state titles in the last 24 years, and that's amazing. And I know the practices that they go through and the amount of effort and work these kids put in to make this thing work. This is an athletic contest, and this athletic contest, they show that they were better than the other teams. And that's what it comes down to.
Execution. It's all about executing. You got to have, I think, 64 kicks in your routine. You got to have nice high kicks. You got to be uniform in your kicks. They talk about posture. I mean, I looked at the judges' form. They grade them on a lot of different things.
They do. And it's really, even when my daughter first danced a few years ago, they've come a long ways. And the competition's got better and better and better. And I think the judges have gotten better and better and better as a result. So I'm just very proud of our girls, very proud of our programs and all of our athletic programs and coaches, but especially at this point, our girls who went through that whole disaster last Saturday. And like I said, yesterday was a good day. And when Cannon Falls showed up at the girls' game last night, that was kind of icing on the cake.
Now, how did this all come about, the pep rally and everything? Did you guys say right after that happened, we got to do something because this is just wrong that the girls don't even get to celebrate at the Target Center because of what was happening? It
is. Ken and I got together. Ken was up till 1:30 in the morning on Sunday morning, and I was up probably till 2 in the morning on Sunday morning, and then I came back to Faribault Sunday morning, and Ken was already here working, and we called each other and tried to come up with some sort of strategy of how we can address these things, because we had extremely unhappy parents and kids.
And rightfully so.
Yeah, and at the same time, all the news stations started calling us, all the TV stations, so we're trying to fit this in. But our strategy was to work with the parents and listen to their concerns. We had our banquet Sunday night, which went well. We backed it up 45 minutes before the actual banquet started so that parents had a chance to talk about it, yell at Ken and I, which is fine, tears and joy of the celebration at the same time, which is hard to imagine, but it's like I said, it's something I've never seen before in my life. So I thought that went very well. And then from the banquet, we talked to the parents. They made a couple of suggestions for us, and we thought they were great ideas. So we decided to do the Pep Fest and then reenact the state tournament because we missed it. Even though it happened, we really missed the awards for our girls. And so we reconstructed that whole piece. We had Rod Johnson from Cannon Falls come down. He did a terrific job. He's as you know, the voice of the Timberwolves. And
former KDHL farm director.
Yep, he's terrific. And then we had a nice celebration. Then after that, the girls were celebrated by the school board. That was taped, so that'll be on TV. And the school board, our board chair, Jason Ingbrecht, did a terrific job, as well as the other board members making some good comments. And then finally, our halftime recognition by the boosters, the athletic boosters, put this on in a short amount of time, I might add, and did a great job.
Did they perform?
They did not perform.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah, they did show at the Pep Fest. They showed their last performance on the big screen. But it's pretty tough when you're finished with the season, especially after what you've gone through, to come back and do something like that.
Well, I thought if you had the Cannon Falls dancers, it would have been cool to do something together.
It would have been cool. When they got there, I walked into the game because I had a board meeting, and when I walked in, it was pretty cool to see the dancers from Cannon and the dancers from Faribault kind of all in arm, and the parents of the Faribault kids were taking pictures and photographs of these girls together, and it was really a true moment, a positive moment in true sportsmanship and what State High School League sports are all about.
Yeah. You should note that the Bomber dance team was competing at state in 2A.
They were, and they finished in the top 6. I'm not sure what place. I know they didn't get the top 3, but I know they finished in the top 6, so kudos to them.
Yep. And some other area schools I'm sure were involved too. I can't remember off the top of my head now.
Yeah, I don't either. It was a tough weekend.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure the high school league will come up with some suggestions on how to make it better.
Yep. Yeah, I think they will too. I think they'll review this and come up with ideas. The hard part is defining those rules and where they're going to go with those things.
Well, my thought was, if you don't want anybody copying another routine, you send everybody a tape of a routine.
And they all perform it.
They all perform it.
Yeah.
And whoever performs it best
wins
the competition. And then you don't have to worry about anybody stealing anything.
Yeah, it's hard. You know, Ned Lewis is a great coach that we have, and I haven't talked to Ned, but I bet he didn't invent the wing tee offense.
No.
So, I mean, we've been copying different
I know
things
he
all over the
didn't.
place. And not to say that we copied, but we've been using what they have and running with the particular athletes that we have that make it good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Lois had mentioned the other day there was this move called the worm.
Yeah.
That was started a few years ago. Now virtually every routine has it. I mean,
yeah, I've seen it on MTV a few times too. Yeah, so who's copied who?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
It's part of the. I mean, you've watched more Dance Line than I have, I think.
Right.
Because you had a daughter in it, right?
Yes. Yep. For 7 years. Yep. A lot of Saturdays. A lot of fun Saturdays. So, yeah, it's a great sport, and
it's high energy. That's what I love about it.
It is, and they work so hard. I'm optimistic that this will draw positive attention to the sport too, and make this a good learning experience for all the kids in the state of Minnesota, and hopefully they'll move forward and we can all get along together. And I don't want our teams to be enemies of the other 5. It's going to be uncomfortable for us to be coming to those places again to dance next year, and hopefully time will heal itself. But we've got to find a way where our girls and our coaches and our staff can come together and celebrate good sportsmanship and not ever do what happened
right
at the Target Center again.
What I had heard is this was kind of brewing, that the dance coaches, they have association or something, is a little upset with the high school league because they think, well, I didn't realize it, they bring in more money than basketball and hockey.
Yeah, and I don't know anything about that, but that could be true.
To the high school league. So they were a little upset about that.
Yeah, and I really have been out of the loop with all the schools with regard to the investigation. I probably shouldn't be in the loop anyways with those investigations. But I do hope that the right decisions come down for each of those schools. I hope they don't hurt the kids. That's the part that is hard for people to. I know the kids were involved in it, but we know darn well that the kids really are kids still, and the power players should be the ones that deserve the whatever discipline ends up happening.
I think of the second and third place teams in 3A who didn't get a trophy, they didn't get medals.
Right.
They won't for the rest of their life. And they may never have another shot, especially the seniors won't have another shot at doing that.
Yep. Yep. And I think when I can't predict, but I know, I'm going to talk about our kids. I know when our kids reflect in a few years, they're going to look back at this. They've won the state champions, so they're going to always be able to say that they were the state champions. And the controversy will get, certainly hope we've asked them to make it a learning experience for them and also to remember to be good sports in the future. So hopefully they're taking this experience and making it a positive for them when they grow up in their adult lives.
Right. Have empathy.
Yep.
You've been in that situation, so don't put any other team in that situation.
Exactly. Yep. When you go by a player or a dancer that you're competing against, instead of saying something negative, maybe say good job and congratulations, even if you are competing for first or second place. You should always, always, always pick the kid up or say something positive to whatever sort of contest you're in.
Yeah, should be celebratory. That's what the state tournament should be all about.
Yeah, we're on it together.